Come on, Microsoft. Now, what's good with you? You feeling all right?
Wait, that's me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Games with BK. This is episode number 2 of Game Talk. And Game Talk is my very own opinion-based series in which I give my little takes here and there on anything video game related. Now, I don't have an actual schedule for these things because they just kind of pop up whenever I have something on my chest that I want to get off. But typically speaking, if there is a new episode of Game Talk, it'll probably air on Friday afternoon. So just stay tuned on the channel. If I have any Game Talk episodes, you'll find it on that day. Now, before I get into the commentary, let me go ahead and throw in some random footage from my YouTube channel to just set the mood. So there's been a few months since the last time I did one of these things, the last episode being released on May 4th, 2025. I'm recording this on Tuesday, October the 6th, 2025, just for reference. So, quite a few months have passed, but a similar theme is recurring between that episode and this one, and that's Microsoft, you're bugging. You're kind of doing a little bit too much, and you got the people upset with you. And the reason why people are upset with you, the reason why people are so mad is because not even 6 months after the last price increase, we getting hit with another price increase. Now, what part of the game is that? In what world is that something that's good for the consumers? Like, you can't really justify that from our perspective as consumers. Now, let me go ahead and read off these price increases. I'll throw it on the screen as well. But for the Xbox Series S, which is Xbox's, the Microsoft digital only console, the 512 gigabyte version will go from $379.99 up to $399.99. Now, for the rest of this list, I'm not going to include the 99-cent, but just it's understood. You already know what it is. Now, for the 1 terabyte version of the Xbox Series S, the price will go from $429 up to $449. Now, for the Xbox Series X console, X as in X-ray, that's the console that I have, the digital version of that being a 1 terabyte hard drive, the digital version will go from $549 up to $599. Now, the disc version, the version that I got back in December of 2022, the price will go from $599 up to $649. Now, for the limited edition, this is where people are really upset, because like when you watch the different videos on YouTube and they talk about the price increases, and they often cite the price of this console here, the Xbox limited edition, the Xbox Series X limited edition console, the 2 terabyte Galaxy version, will go from $729 up to $799. $799, basically $800 and change, with all the applicable sales taxes, and that's insane to think about. Now, I guess the conventional wisdom would be that stuff like electronics, these kinds of like hardware pieces, the prices would go down over time, not increase, and definitely not increase at the rate that Microsoft is increasing it. Like for frame of reference, I think I mentioned before, I got my Xbox Series X console in December of 2022. Now, there's a little funny story that I could probably tell at a later date, because I could have gotten this console a little cheaper using a gift card if Walmart didn't mess up, but that's probably a story for another day. But be that as it may, I got my console December 2022 from Best Buy for the base price at that time, $499.99, of course. With the taxes and all that, I can't remember exactly how much it was afterwards, but figure in the New York State taxes and you got the final price right there. That same console, the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte version, went from $499 up to like $649. That's like $150 more 3 years later. That's unheard of. And with the previous increase, that went up $100 from the time that I got it to I guess a few months ago. So like, there's no real logical way to make that feel good for a consumer, and you really can't understand, you can't grasp it from the consumer standpoint on why the console prices are going up, especially as we see all these reports of Microsoft having a tough time selling the consoles. Are you gonna have a easier time selling a console when you raise the price. That kind of doesn't make sense, which leads to all these theories about Microsoft purposely tanking the Xbox, buying all these other studios over the past few years just so they could turn into like a distributor, or I don't even know the right term, a developer, or someone who just pushes out content as opposed to a console, like a complete video game company that sells consoles. But that's a conspiracy theory right there. But back to the prices. Prices are crazy. $800 for that 2 terabyte console. If you got it, I guess spend your money however you want. But like, I don't know. I can't think of any justification for me wanting to spend that much money for a gaming console. And I guess during the height of the pandemic, where people were getting squeezed and buying up, some people were getting squeezed out from buying the PS5, and then the people who did hoard them could jack up the prices, you would see some stuff like that. But like right now, we're not in the middle of that kind of environment economically to where anybody is really going to be out there rushing to get an $800 Xbox. Now, in addition to Microsoft raising the prices on their consoles, they went ahead and did probably one of the dumbest things that I could think of from a public relations standpoint, and they raised the price on Game Pass. Game Pass, the one thing that I think most Xbox gamers really enjoy and liked and felt like it was a good value. They raised the price on Game Pass. Come on, Microsoft. Now, what's good with you? You feeling all right? Now, a little bit of a small backstory here. Like I said before, said it a couple of times in this episode, I got my Xbox Series X in December of 2022. And in November of 2022, guess what I was playing? I was playing on an Xbox 360. At that time, I had, probably run the Xbox through the full potential that I could run it through. I skipped that entire Xbox One / PlayStation 4 generation. I was holding on to NCAA Football 12. I was holding on to Madden 12. I was still playing one of them old bum ass NBA 2K games like 2K18. Like, I like the 2K series overall, but that game was not good, especially not on no 360. But it was time. My wife kind of convinced me, yo, go ahead, upgrade your console. She wasn't gonna buy the console because she gonna do more important stuff for me, buy like other kinds of gifts. But she said, yo, treat yourself, get yourself a new console. And that's what I ended up doing. And my homeboy Johnny Castle, somebody I reference a whole lot on this, he knows about all these consoles. He's heavy into the games. He knows what's what. He put me on the Game Pass. He's like, yo, you don't need a whole lot of games when you first get this console. Get you Game Pass. Go ahead and play through the library of content that they got. It's like having a rental system, like a Netflix for video games. $14 a month at that time, $14.99, whatever. But it was good. From there, I fell in love with a bunch of games, man. Games that I probably would have never ever given the light of day, would have never given a chance. I found them on Game Pass, and now I'm at the point where if they did leave Game Pass, I would buy those games because I really enjoy those games. And one of them in particular is that zombie horror game called State of Decay 2. Now, to take you behind the curtain, I got like some content from that game that I might throw on this channel. I've been kind of on and off about it, but I have stuff that's already in the can that I could run with, but I haven't really completed that series, so that's why you haven't seen anything. But I love that game so much to the point where when they announced they have a new game coming out at some point in the future, State of Decay 3, I'm definitely getting that. Even my wife, who's not even a big time gamer like that, she loves State of Decay 2. And Batman Arkham City, or Arkham City, found that on Game Pass. A lot of the EA games will end up on Game Pass. So it was a great value at $14. And then they raised that thing up to like $20. And I was like, you know what? It's still a pretty good value, especially for me because I wasn't putting my debit or credit card online with Microsoft to keep the subscription current. Homeboy Johnny Castle told me, yo, go ahead, get you these prepaid cards. And he even looked out too. He bought me some prepaid cards too and upgraded my subscription all the way from, I think, my last year's birthday all the way straight through to the end of December of 2026. So I'm good right now in terms of the subscription. But for the people who do have their card on file and do have to deal with these price increases, this is crazy. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put on the screen the current version, well, the whatever the upgraded price increases will be for the new versions of Game Pass. For the old heads, for the long-time gamers who remember Xbox Gold and Xbox games with gold and all this other stuff, this is kind of like the natural progression and evolution of what that was. But I think before this recent change and reimagining, as they like to call it, I guess, of the Xbox Game Pass system, we had three different versions. You had like the core, which I think basically allowed you to just play online. I don't remember if they allowed you any games or whatever. And then you had the PC Game Pass, and then you had the Ultimate, which is the one that everybody really likes. Right now, they're going to morph this program into 3 different tiers, I guess. The first one, the basic one, being the Essential tier. So I'm going to read it directly off of whatever you're going to see on the screen. Hopefully you don't hear all this stuff in the background. Me moving the table around. Now, for $9.99 a month, you're gonna have 50 plus games playable on PC, console, and cloud. Unlimited cloud gaming, in-game benefits including for Riot Games. I don't really know what Riot Games are. I guess that's some developer. Online console multiplayer, and you can play and earn up to $25 a year in the store with rewards. For the premium tier, you're gonna pay the current price, well, the former price for Ultimate back when I first got on, $14.99 a month. You're gonna have 200 plus games playable on PC, console, and cloud. You're gonna have new Xbox published games within a year of launch, and there's like an asterisk, and I think that asterisk means you ain't getting no Call of Duty. That's what I heard other people mention. You also have the unlimited cloud gaming with shorter wait times. You got in-game benefits including for Riot Games, online console multiplayer. You can play and earn up to $50 a year in the store with rewards. Now, the Ultimate tier will go from the current price of $20 up to $29.99 a month, aka $30. And with that, you'll have 400 plus games playable on console, cloud, and PC. You're gonna have 75 plus day one games a year, including all Xbox published games on day one. You're gonna have Ubisoft Plus classics and EA Play included, with Fortnite Crew coming in November. And there's like 2 asterisks there. I guess that is the one that probably refers to Call of Duty, because I think Call of Duty is a Ubisoft game. I think that's not going to be included. And you're going to have unlimited cloud gaming with our best quality with the shortest wait times. And I'm going to address that in a moment. You're going to have in-game benefits including for Riot Games, online console multiplayer, and you can play and earn up to $100 a year in the store with rewards. Now let me go ahead and try to dissect what I can dissect from what I just read. Now, first off, having to pay anything for online access for your games feels kind of wrong, especially with the cost of Wi-Fi, like the cost of good Wi-Fi and the cost of these consoles. Like, come on, you should cut the gamers a little bit of a break, especially since these games essentially have to be connected to the internet anyway, like with the updates and patches and the downloads and all this other stuff. Like, why we gotta pay low? Why we gotta pay to play online, the multiplayer? Come on, man. Come on. You want us to buy the console? You want us to buy the games? We're already paying for the internet. Come on, man. Cut us a little break on that. But now with these different tiers, if you pay for the essential tier, you might be waiting a couple of minutes to get into some of these games, I guess. And I guess with the cloud gaming, eventually they're trying to add some ads. I'm tired of ads. I watch ads on YouTube. I watch ads on Netflix. I watch ads on Amazon Prime. I watch ads everywhere. The damn Subway got ads. Everywhere got ads. We're tired of ads. That's me, my little mini rant. I'm sorry about that. But back to the subject here. It feels wrong too to like say, well, you're gonna get the shortest waiting times by paying $30 a month. Like, I feel like, hey, if you paying anything, you should be able to get in and out of these games as quickly as possible. Like, stop throttling people based on the amount of money and creating these like super highways and these slow lanes for people who have spent money on these consoles. Like, it don't feel right. But you see that in the little breakdown of what these tiers give you. Now the day one stuff, I'm not really necessarily a day one guy when it comes to the games. I used to be maybe in the PlayStation 2 era where I wanted to get the newest Madden on day one, or the newest NCAA football game on day one. But like, I started to expand the genre of games that I play with Game Pass, because I went from being an all-around gamer in the Nintendo and Sega Genesis era and into the original PlayStation era, and then kind of narrowed my focus as I went through the PS2 and Xbox eras into like more of just a sports gamer. But I still don't play a whole lot of games day one. Like, I can wait. I don't need them when they're first released. I'm not into Call of Duty. I know that's kind of sacrilege for a lot of people. My stepson is a big time gamer on the PlayStation with the Call of Duty. But the day one stuff don't really appeal to me per se. But I wouldn't want to drop to a lower tier than the Ultimate just on the strength of, say I want to play my EA College Football online or play some of these cloud games. I don't want to be waiting forever to find a matchup or have these issues with desyncs and all these connection things. And I'm guessing that would relate to, it may relate to the tiers. I'm guessing. That's me making an assumption there. Now, in terms of the games offered, it's always better to have more games available to you than less games. But I guess for the average gamer, unless you're out there, unless you're playing games like nonstop, and maybe you're only in school, maybe your job allows you to work from home, and you don't have to deal with the commute, and thus you have more free time to game, then having that Ultimate tier might be great for you because of the 400 plus games. But I just don't want to be limited in terms of the games I have access to. I might not want to play all of them, but I want to have the ability to play all of them if possible, which is why I wouldn't want to drop a tier down to like essential or the middle tier. But overall, man, I think gamers are just upset, and we're seeing videos on YouTube talking about how there are mass cancellations of Game Pass memberships. And truthfully speaking, if my membership were tied directly to my debit card or my credit card, I'd probably be doing the same thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna try to act crazy or nothing like that. I'd probably maybe not completely cancel, because you do need multiplayer to do certain stuff. Like, I have a Dynasty series right now with my homies in College Football 26. I can't really completely get off of it. Probably would have to drop to whatever the basic tier is. But like, honestly, I would probably reconsider getting off of Ultimate though. At $30 a month, yeah, that's not gonna cut it for me. But from what I hear, GameStop is offering the Game Pass Ultimate gift cards, or those little gift cards, at their current price of $20 per month. So what I'm considering doing, since I already have basically a year and 2 months worth of Ultimate left, I'm thinking about stockpiling and adding on to this time by maybe finding some GameStop cards. If you have any other options out there, you can post them down in the comment section. But that's probably going to be my strategy going forward, to just kind of bump forward my subscription. I think you can stack up to 3 years worth of Game Pass. And if I can manage to do that, maybe by 2029, Xbox will get some damn sense and not be at $30 a month for Ultimate, which is doubtful. But yeah, this is a crazy situation, and I think most people kind of hit the nail on the head when they say that Xbox is doing this to make themselves more profitable, because there are no real other explanations for why they would do this, kind of make these kind of price gougey type moves. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, I guess, to maximize the profits of the companies, and maybe they feel like they have to find ways to generate money. They cut a lot of people, they fired a lot of people, and none of this feels good though. None of this feels good. This first segment ran about 20 minutes long, and I didn't want these episodes to go that deep, but I'm going to try to tack on one more segment just to close out this episode. So this episode's closeout segment is going to be centered on EA Sports deciding to back out of making a college basketball title. So I believe it was back in either June or July in which EA Sports had made an announcement stating that they were going to get back into the business of making college basketball games. And I want to say the 2K Twitter account referenced something about the campus has been too empty for so long, or something like that. Campus has been quiet for so long. But when that announcement was made, there was some mixed reactions to EA being the company to announce it. But at the same time, I think it was largely a favorable response from gamers, from sports gamers. And the reason for that favorable reaction is because for us fans of college basketball, we have not had a basketball game in over a decade. EA Sports last put out their version of the college basketball game. I think it's called EA College Basketball 2010 or College Basketball 2010, something like that. But that game was released in the year of 2009. And then for a gamer like me who was big on college hoops 2K8, that game was released in 2007. Well, a lot of the big time gamers on Operation Sports, the forums, they would update the game yearly and then release a file, and then gamers on the PS3 or the Xbox 360 could essentially have updated rosters. And I did that for a while with my 360. And I think we made it up to like the 2016 or 17 season with that project. I mean, I wasn't part of the project, but me downloading the project from people who made it. But beyond that, we really haven't had any kind of consistent college basketball experience. And people were looking forward to that. Like, we grew up, a lot of us, playing March Madness or having access to college hoops game. There was I think a Fox Sports college basketball game. The 989 Sports Company had a college basketball game, I think in the late 90s, early 2000s. So, if you were a hardcore college basketball fan, not having one over the years is kind of bad. Like, you want to be able to play with your team. Like me, I want to play with St. John's, try to take them back to prominence. Especially now, in the real life world, St. John's is becoming like good again with Rick Pitino. You want to be able to simulate that in the virtual world, and we just have not been able to do that due to a variety of reasons. Now, the games went away originally due to lawsuits and like this unclear environment of how to pay players, and the wake of the Ed O'Bannon and Sam Keller lawsuits. And I think a lot of that kind of started to fade when we saw name, image, and likeness become a thing in college sports, and that opened the door for what we saw last year, which was the college football game, college football 25 game released by EA. So when that was released and it became super popular, became maybe one of the most most highly purchased games of all time, I think a lot of us people who also watch college basketball, we thought that this would open the door for a company to do so. So EA making this announcement was kind of cool. That being said, I think that EA wanted, at least the word is that EA wanted to be the exclusive distributor for a college basketball product. And if they weren't going to be exclusive, they were not going to do it. I think they had tentatively reached some kind of agreement with the company that's responsible for getting these schools together for the licensing of products, and they were going to run with something. But then 2K, I think, ended up having individual deals with certain schools because they also wanted to have some kind of college related product or some college related offering, and that kind of sunk the EA plans, leading to people clowning EA Sports for not going through with it. And I'm kind of in that same boat right now, to be honest. I guess with EA being so comfortable and so used to having a Madden NFL franchise being the exclusive NFL simulation, the only product that could use the NFL name, they feel like that monopoly thing is just going to work all around the board. Like, nah, like, you're going to have to compete against somebody. And 2K has pretty much held the crown on the basketball side since the 2K11 game, which is, I feel like, was probably my favorite NBA 2K game, and arguably you probably say my favorite NBA basketball game of all time. It came through, crushed the buildings, so to speak, and EA was never really able to recover after that. But over the years, 2K kind of wore out its welcome with all the microtransaction stuff and them not really listening to their fans the way that Madden year after year kind of pisses off a lot of gamers. So now we got two companies essentially having effective monopolies in two of the major sports, and no one's happy. But now with EA, the potential of EA doing a college basketball game, I think we had hopes long term that we'd get another NBA game, and then that would force 2K to up their quality, and then we'd be back to competition again. And that's not happening. Fans are kind of sad again, and then 2K is I guess committed to making some kind of college basketball experience. Rumors about them including something in Ultimate Team or My Team or whatever it's called, essentially more paid content. That doesn't make anybody happy. I'm not paying for no add-ons to play the college basketball tournament. I don't see myself doing that unless it's gifted to me somehow. I don't see myself doing that. And I think the word is, because there's not a whole lot of firm concrete information out there about this right now, but I think the word is that starting in next year in the fall, they're going to start integrating some college related content into the NBA 2K26 basketball game, a game that I do not own, and a game that at this point on October the 6th, 2025, it's a game that I do not plan on owning. I'm going to ride out this NBA 2K25 game for at least another calendar year, and I'll see what I could do going forward. But that kind of brings me in line with what some of the proposed things from that EA deal was going to be. I think they were not really committed to making a yearly game, but instead like a game every other year, or something with a game that can be updated. And that's kind of the way I ride out a lot of my sports games anyway. Like, I don't really see the value for me, and I'm not saying this for anyone else, for me, in buying sports titles yearly anymore, because I'm not that pressed about having updated rosters. If I can still play a game without any issues, then I'll just hold on to it. I'm always a guy who has been big into doing manual updates of video games, playing dynasty mode, using draft classes, editing players, creating players, that kind of thing to keep the game alive. And that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing this sports gaming fall and winter season with NBA 2K25, with Madden 25, and it would have been with college football 25, but I got it due to some peer pressure. And actually, it was actually a gift, so it's not completely peer pressure. So my homeboy Johnny Castle got me the game as a gift for this past birthday. So I still kind of held firm on my stance in a way. But that's pretty much it. We're almost approaching that 28 minute mark. I didn't want this episode number 2 of the Game Talk podcast, for lack of a better term, to run this long. Want to get my little thoughts in and out, and I guess that's the way I'll close it out. I'm going to show a little promotion for my wife's channels, unpaid promotion. So YouTube, I'm not getting paid for this. I just want people who do go through the end, get through to the end of this episode, to just post their comments down below on anything that you might have heard. Talk to me about Microsoft raising their prices. Talk to me about these yearly sports game titles and EA backing out of making a college basketball game. Fill in the gaps wherever I might have missed some information or lost some context. Hit me up in the comment section below. It's been a little over a year since I started this channel, and it's been kind of fun, doing these things with the video games, and now with this kind of occasional opinion-based podcast thing. So thanks again for taking the time out to watch Game Talk, listen or watch Game Talk. Check out some of the other content I got on the Games with BK YouTube channel. And until the next time, thanks for listening.
Wait, that's me.